Imagine two friends, Sarah and Mike. They both make $75,000 a year, live in the same city, and got the same financial advice from the same advisor. Sarah maxes out her RRSP, lives in a modest apartment, and hasn't taken a vacation in 2 years. Mike invests the minimum, bought a nice car, and just got back from a trip to Europe. Who's making the right financial decisions? Hey everyone, welcome back to KP Money Talks, where we simplify personal finance in Canada. If you're new here, I'm your host for today, and we talk about making money make sense. And today's topic? It might be the most important financial concept you've never heard of. The answer to Sarah and Mike isn't that one is right and one is wrong. It's that they have different core financial values, and until you understand yours, every piece of financial advice you get is going to feel like it doesn't quite fit. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand what your core financial values are, but you'll know how to use them to make every money decision easier and more authentic to who you really are. Let me tell you about the worst financial advice I ever followed. 3 years into my investing journey, I was doing pretty well with index funds. Nothing fancy, just consistent investing, watching my account grow slowly but surely. I felt good about it. Then I went to a financial seminar where this very successful investor talked about real estate. He showed charts, talked about cash flow, passive income, tax benefits. It all sounded amazing. So I took $40,000, money I had been steadily putting into my index funds, and bought a rental property. 6 months later, I was stressed out of my mind, dealing with tenants, maintenance calls at midnight, vacancy periods where I was paying 2 mortgages. The property was actually making money on paper, but I hated every minute of it. Here's what I realized. The advice wasn't bad. Real estate can be an excellent investment, but it was wrong for me. And the reason it was wrong wasn't because of the numbers. It was because it went against my core financial values. Core financial values are the fundamental beliefs that drive how you want to interact with money. They're like your financial GPS. They don't tell you exactly which road to take, but they make sure you're heading in the right direction. That real estate investment, it violated 2 of my core values. I value simplicity in my investments, and I value time freedom over maximum returns. The moment I understood that, everything clicked. Through my own journey and talking to hundreds of viewers, I've noticed that most people's financial values fall into 5 main categories. You might have one primary value, or you might be a mix of several. Let me walk you through each one with some real examples. Meet Jennifer. She's 34, makes good money as a software developer, but she keeps 8 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. Her friends think she's crazy. You're missing out on investment returns, they say. But here's the thing. Jennifer grew up in a household where her dad lost his job 3 times before she turned 18. She watched her parents stress about money constantly. For Jennifer, that 8-month emergency fund isn't inefficient. It's peace of mind. It's sleeping well at night. Her core financial value is security. If you're security-focused, you probably prioritize emergency funds over aggressive investing. Choose stable, predictable investments even if returns are lower. Would rather miss out on some gains than risk significant losses. Get genuinely stressed when your investment accounts fluctuate. And you know what? That's completely valid. There's no point in building wealth if the process makes you miserable. Now let me tell you about Marcus. He's 28, and last year he put 15% of his income into individual growth stocks, another 10% into cryptocurrency, and he's even invested in a friend's startup. His emergency fund? 3 weeks of expenses, max. Marcus isn't reckless, he's growth-oriented. He sees money as a tool for building wealth, and he's willing to accept higher risk for higher potential returns. He gets more stressed about inflation eating away his cash than he does about market volatility. Growth-focused people usually feel like cash sitting in savings is lazy money, are comfortable with market ups and downs. Invest in individual stocks, growth funds, or alternative investments. Think long-term and are willing to sacrifice short-term stability for long-term wealth building. Then there's Alex. Alex makes $60,000 a year but lives on $40,000. Every extra dollar goes toward investments, not because Alex loves analyzing stocks, but because Alex has calculated exactly how much money needed to never have to work for someone else again. Alex drives a 12-year-old Toyota, lives in a small apartment, and hasn't upgraded a phone in 3 years. But Alex is also on track to be financially independent by age 40. Freedom-focused people live significantly below their means. View every expense through the lens of, what does this cost me in freedom? Often follow FIRE principles. Financial independence, retire early. Value time and autonomy over material possessions. Make sacrifices today for independence tomorrow. Lisa makes her financial decisions differently. She invests in ESG funds, banks with a credit union that supports local businesses, and has automatic donations set up to 3 charities. When she was choosing between 2 similar investment options, she picked the one that didn't include tobacco or fossil fuel companies, even though it had slightly lower historical returns. Lisa's core value is impact. She wants her money to reflect her values and create positive change in the world. Impact-focused people often consider the ethical implications of their investments, prefer sustainable and socially responsible investing, include charitable giving as a non-negotiable part of their budget, are willing to potentially sacrifice some returns to align their money with their values. Finally, meet David and Rachel. They save for retirement, have an emergency fund, but they also budget for 3 vacations a year, eat out regularly, and live in a nice apartment in an expensive part of town. They're not being financially irresponsible. They're being intentional about balancing future security with present enjoyment. Their philosophy? We want to be financially secure, but we also want to enjoy our lives along the way. Lifestyle-focused people want financial security, but not at the expense of current happiness. Budget for experiences and quality of life improvements. Take a balanced approach to saving versus spending. Believe in living well at every stage of life, not just in retirement. So, how do you figure out which of these resonates with you? Or maybe you're a combination of several? Let me walk you through some questions that will help you discover your core financial values. First, I want you to think about your earliest money memory. Not just any memory, the one that still makes you feel something when you think about it. Maybe it was watching your parents fight about money. Maybe it was saving up for something special and the joy you felt when you finally bought it. Maybe it was a time when your family didn't have enough money for something important. I'll share mine. I was 12 and my family was at the grocery store. My mom was adding up items in her head as she shopped, something I'd seen her do before but never really noticed. At the checkout, the total was higher than she expected. I watched her remove item after item from our cart, including the cereal I had asked for. I felt embarrassed, sad, and powerless all at once. And in that moment, I made a promise to myself that I would never have to choose between basic necessities because of money. That memory? It shaped my security-focused approach to emergency funds. It's why I keep more cash on hand than is probably optimal. And understanding that connection helped me stop feeling guilty about it. What's your money memory? And more importantly, how might it be influencing your financial decisions today? Here are some trade-off questions that will help reveal your values. Would you rather have $100,000 in a guaranteed savings account or a 50% chance of having $300,000 and a 50% chance of having $50,000? You get a $5,000 bonus. What's your first instinct? Invest it, save it, or spend it on something that would improve your current quality of life? Would you rather work a job you hate for 20 years and retire comfortably, or work a job you love for 40 years with a modest retirement? If you could only choose one, double your investment returns but have to check your accounts daily, or guarantee you never lose money but your returns are very modest. There are no right or wrong answers here, but your gut reactions will tell you a lot about what you value most. Last exercise. Think about the last time you felt genuinely stressed about money. What caused that stress? Was it market volatility affecting your investments? Not having enough in savings? Spending too much on something? Feeling like you weren't making progress toward your goals fast enough? Worrying about whether your money was making a positive impact? The things that stress us out financially are often the flip side of what we value most. Here's what I want you to remember: personal finance is personal. The best financial strategy isn't the one that looks best on paper. It's the one you'll actually stick to because it aligns with who you are and what you value. Your core financial values are your North Star. They don't tell you exactly what to do in every situation, but they make sure you're moving in a direction that feels authentic and sustainable for you. So here's my challenge for you. Take some time this week to really think about your core financial values. Do the exercises I mentioned, and then look at your current financial situation, your budget, your investments, your goals, and ask yourself, is this aligned with what I actually value? You might be surprised by what you discover. If this video helped you think about money differently, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what your core financial value is. Are you team security, team growth, a mix of several? I read every comment and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want more content about building a financial plan that actually fits your life, make sure you're subscribed because that's exactly what we talk about here every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.